What's good, everybody? What is good? Welcome to an episode of Opinionated with yours truly. Hopefully, 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 you guys can freaking hear me. I have been struggling dealing with the mic all day, folks. All day. All blessed day. But it is all for not just for myself, but also for you. Uh, it has been a very interesting time today. Today we are going to be covering pretty much the topic of what's going on today, which is being selfish inherently bad? Now, the easy answer for anyone would typically be hell no. Come on. Being selfish is not a bad thing, but there are people with high moral aspects in their life that turn around and say, yes, it is a bad thing. I think people, especially in this generation, in this day and age, are too effing selfish. Or selfishness had been a big part of what has taken down so much of society because we could talk about what happened from the boomers all the way down to alpha and say that selfishness has ruined us through and through. It's a conversation that we can really have because I don't think everybody sees quote selfishness as the same way. But we can get into that. Today is going to be open panel, so it'll be in the description box. Let me just put this up there in case you guys don't want to see that. It'll be in the description box. It'll be in the chat later on as I talk about a couple of things. But of course, like always, before we get it real started into a whole bunch of aspects, like I said, I've been fighting through technical issues. But first thing I like to do is, of course, I like to acknowledge the people who already walked into the building. Of course, is my guy Cellulite. He says, "What's good, my G? What is good, man?" I don't know if you've been doing streams of the last few days or so, but I haven't been getting any notifications. I don't know if that's a YouTube thing or what, but I haven't gotten anything from you in a couple of days. To be fair, I've also not been on YouTube, but I don't remember actually seeing any notification when you pop up. You're getting a lot of notifications, but I don't remember your channel. Um, so there is that. Today's gonna be one of those days because, quite frankly, it has been one of those hot weather days where everybody kind of wants to be out and doing their own thing. So I kind of get it. I kind of get it. But hopefully, as we get through the day, as we start pouring in through the building, that people want to show up and they will give a little bit of lending of credence to what we're talking about today. Now, today is not too heavy intensive as I don't really have a whole bunch of stuff to necessarily show you or anything. But and even when I was writing this particular topic out, I was thinking about it really in reference to why selfishness is actually a good thing. It's a good thing despite how other people may feel or interact with it. But then something else hit me as well, and the thing that hit me was a an an AI skit. Let me just put that way. An AI short of something that was being said, and it made me really lean into some of the reflections that I had to do on my own past. So let me show you a little bit of that, and then you'll get a good idea what I'm talking about. So let's just go over to my Instagram, and I just want you to hear this out real quick.
The Joker once said, "Better to be slapped with a truth than kissed with a lie. Never hide your bad side to make someone stay. Show your bad side and see who can stay. Someday, someone will break you so badly that you will become unbreakable. Why should I apologize for the monster I've become? No one ever apologized for making me this way. Remember, I'm not heartless. I just learned to use my heart less."
And I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with it, not even a little bit, because I wholeheartedly relate to that. There have been so many aspects of my life that have been full of trials, full of tribulations, and even the beginning part of that is It's Russian. It's a Russian saying. Um, so I think it's something that we should really dive into when we start hearing a lot about the moralistic aspects of how people move or how people think that people should be viewing their lives. Because whether it's the people who are just moralistic, whether it's the people who are spiritual, or whether it's people that just want to believe that they're good people, the people, the question is when they say you want to be giving, you want to help out, you want to be a great hand, a quote, shepherd who helps guide the flock. I'm thinking to myself, it's the selfish sheep that get to be out there because, quite frankly, maybe they're the ones who are winning. And it's the wolf that's also selfish to the point where he takes advantage of the prey. Everybody can be selfish. And sorry if there's a bunch of noise. You probably won't hear it because I just made a whole bunch of adjustments. But I don't know why these guys are not going home. They decided to still do construction right across the street from me. But to get back to what I was talking about, I want to make to the point where saying that self being selfish is not a bad thing. I know a lot of people try to push the point of saying being selfless is a good thing, being attentive to others is such a great thing. But I always go back to the thing of you cannot pour out of an empty cup. That's one. And number two, well, thank you. CCD, what's up? Thank you for letting me know that because I just had to add filters in StreamYard because I'm struggling with a whole bunch of other stuff on the outside. But there are so many things that happen throughout life. And the ideal that you should be selfless as much as possible. And I'm speaking to the really moral, so the really moral, the really spiritual, the God fearing people those are the ones who really, you know, I want to be at the homeless shelters and I want to be at the food pantries and I want to be at the drives and yeah, 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 fuck you guys. Um, who turn around and say it's okay to be selfless. And I say no, because quite frankly, pouring out of an empty cup is not feasible. And pouring out of a cup that barely has anything in it, even if it's half, is not feasible as well. You should wait till when your cup runs over before you decide that you want to turn around and start giving to others. And I think that's the way to go. It's the term of you need to be selfish, and I mean entirely selfish, before you can be selfless. Put yourself in a position to where you're able to take care of other people. And it shouldn't be any time before that. Now, I can tell you right now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. And I say that regardless of it's on the job. I say that whether it's in your relationship. I say that when it comes to your children. You need to be you need to be able to take care of yourself. Do not be one of these people who are out here and believe that someone else should be coming down the line to take care of you. I'm sorry, but that's the wrong idea to even have, like, say, children. It is not your children's responsibility to take care of you. It'd be nice if they did it, especially when you're at old age, but it's not their responsibility to do so. It is your job to give them the most tools possible so that they can become a productive, decent human being. And should they feel like it because their cup is full, they can decide to pour into your cup when it starts running low. And it shouldn't be a time for any more than that. We put people in peril by making them believe that they should be always looking out to take care of other people. When the truth of the matter is that so many people out here are not capable of taking care of themselves. So it might be a little different from what I was originally writing down for myself because I started changing it up literally even as of this morning. And there's this thing about people who are very altruistic. So they turn around and they say like, Oh, well, look at Mother Teresa. Look how many people that, you know, they want to give so much to other people. And I go, let's be honest, I think their giving is not worth much. It's not. I think even the people who have stood at pantries, 'cause I've been a person that stood at pantries, are getting food that's pretty much almost at the mark of being thrown away because of people who hoarded for so long. I don't think that's something that's necessarily helping them out, you know? And just because it's this idea that you think that you help because you lend your hand, rather, you lend your time, that you must be a good person, this is also a fallacy. It is. I'm going to let you know you're living a lie. It's just like what I said pretty much in one of my other streams that was past. When I tell you that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Oh, I know you don't want to hear that. I know you don't want to hear that. Ooh, especially as a spiritual person, you do not want to hear that. But I'm gonna have to tell you that is the truth. A lot of people think that they're helping someone else out and don't know the damage that they're actually doing. Because you get to walk away and still be you. And they get to walk away still with the pieces that they carry. This is a great example of what OG Do Dirty and I saw last night along with Mayo. And it involved this male who is doing content. You know, he is I didn't even think about it. I'm thinking about I worse I would have thought about showcasing this right now. But he's a guy who pretty much goes in the street like how we do the Atlanta street interviews, and he doesn't come off the same way. It seems like he's really taking advantage of those who are disenfranchised. He's got them out on about to say TV. He's got them out on the internet. He's really airing their grievances, and they're really, really in a dark place in their life. Some of them acknowledge it. Some people are just not in the right frame of mind. Some people have adapted to their current situations. While he's raking in the profits to the point where he puts them in uncomfortable positions where they're just not ready, if they'll ever be, by the way, but they're not ready to place themselves in a situation where they will be willing to care for themselves. They are not in a selfish place in their life. They are outside of themselves. You know, we say this thing where we say, I am beside myself with anger. And I think of the cartoons. You're literally sitting beside yourself, and beside yourself is another character that looks just like you that's called anger. They are outside of themselves. They are outside of selfishness. But it's not selflessness because they have nothing to give. They are literally stuck as a being in the void. They know that what's happening with them is not a good thing, but they also know that what they should be doing is hard for them to get a hold of. Oh shit! You said it's your birthday? Really? Oh shit! That's what's up. That is what's up. Oh shit! That is crazy. Oh no 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 no! Hold up. We're gonna have to do this properly. Oh man, I never even thought about it. CCD, that's what's up. That's what's good. I am wholeheartedly uh, thrilled that you are actually having your birthday, which is good, which is a really really good thing. Oh, happy birthday to you, man! You say it's officially old as dirt, and you're gonna say that you're officially old as dirt to someone older than you? That's messed up. You have plenty of years ahead of you, sir. Plenty of years ahead. So don't even worry about it. You're good, and I'm pretty sure that your family and your friends, they all appreciate you. They all appreciate you. Now, means that you still got some work to do because you know it's not over yet. You know you still got a whole lot more shit to take care of. But that's what's up. That is what's up. I has sipped off to you, sir. Thank you for making yet another New year, I should say. Another new year to you, sir. That's what's good. Let me see if I can do anything to celebrate you for that. This is what's up. Happy birthday, my guy. By the way, my sound system is all messed up because I had something way better. I just can't do anything with it. I don't know what's going on with my sound system. It's absolutely cheating me. It's way better than that. It's way better. It's, I can't give you the best of it. It's way better. Like something happened today, and now all my sound effects in OBS is all screwed up. I don't know what the hell happened, but it is what it is. But happy birthday again. So let me take a look at my hodgepodge of things that I created for myself today, and I'll have to see what works and what doesn't because I literally was working on my sound all the way until the point where we started the stream. So I've had no breaks. Um, so essentially, what I want to do is I want to kick off the fact that we have to really define what selfishness is. Now, traditionally, selfishness is just like putting one's needs above others, which I don't necessarily see as a bad thing. And often it's in that one person's own experiences. But why is it always looked at as a negative thing to be quote selfish? You know, and the question I asked myself was can selfishness be a necessary act of self-care? The answer is absolutely that. I think about my relationship, especially early in my relationship between me and my girl. She is one that she does so much for other people, and I say, "Why do you keep trying to help other people when, quite frankly, you're not sitting in the greatest position of yourself? Work on your own shit." Because here's the truth of the matter: if something ever happens where you need to be able to take care of friends, family, or God forbid you start a family of your own, you cannot put your children or your first family in the best position possible if you're too busy looking after second and third families. That's just it. I think of the step the stepdad, right? Who has his own children with the same wife now. He has his own children and then he has children that are extended. He is also quote taking care of children that are not belonging quote necessarily his, but he's also by sharing his dollars kind of uh stripping the resources that would actually go to his own blood, his own DNA. And I guess people don't want to look at it that way because they want to look at the moral aspects of it. I know guys, I know a guy who is literally with someone who has previous kids, but only because he loves the mother. He can't stand the kid. He doesn't like the kid. He loves the woman. But he understood that that was a deal that he had to take on. Because I think people need to realize this. Just because you decide to take the other person, even though they have other kid, please don't believe that that person has accepted your child. They just think that you're a catch. They think that you're the best thing that's come across. That doesn't mean they feel the same way about your child. Yes, your child's a burden. Yes, your child is baggage. Yes, your child is a deal that they have to take as part of being a package. That doesn't mean they like it. People understand that they need to sleep in motels. People also wind up accepting the possibility that they could walk away with bed bugs, but they do it anyway. It's sometimes they look at it as just quote the acceptable risk because they might walk out unscathed. Might. A lot of people gamble. That's just what it is. Now, Speaking of gambling, I guess that's an act of selfishness that we can turn around and talk about. For anyone who knows me, you know that I am a person who doesn't necessarily gamble. I say necessarily because I will gamble. I've gambled in many things that I've done, but typically for myself, and typically when I thought the odds were more than 50%, and typically when those odds involved great risk, normally to my health or whatever. I don't like to risk things that are willy nilly. I don't. I don't like to risk things that I know that I will need for the future. So for one of the things I don't risk is I don't risk money out of principle. I just don't do it because like any other addiction, gambling is one of them. Again, not a moral thing, not a holy nar thing, but I've seen enough people go through very tough predicaments over a few dollars. When you can say that you see family members who are still bitching at each other over $5, $5 freaking dollars, not because of the money, but because of the principle, it's not worth it. People are so finicky on principles. Why would I want to take the chance of saying that I owe someone over something that's just so small? So therefore, I don't bet money. Oh, you want to bet $5? You want to bet $1? Or you want to bet $10? It's just not worth it. I could be doing something more beneficial for you, quite frankly, with that $5 or $10 than the idea of you believing that I'm a bad person because I don't want to give it to you. Because the principle, the idea of you having that money is more important than what that money could be done for you. Let's just be honest what it is. It's not like you're banking on that money. You're just mad at the other person won't uphold their deal. Is that really something that's worth it? Hmm? I don't think so. Locksmith, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. And I totally forgot. I put it in the description, guys. So let me just do this right here so you guys have it. Um, because it'd be kind of weird if I didn't put up the actual link when I know I already put it as open panel. It's literally in the freaking title. Um, but the idea is that when we talk about selfishness, right? I think about so many different aspects of selfishness, and then we say it's a bad thing. It's because we are selfish that we can't move forward as a society. And I go, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that there are people who are greedy, but I don't think greed is the same as selfishness. Now, there are people who are probably going to want to disagree with that. And I say, if you do want to disagree with that, uh, bring forth your best case. I'm not going to make your case for you. Bring forth your best case. But these are things that should be contended with. Now, let's consider the positive aspects, positive aspects of selfishness, not selflessness, selfishness. In a world that often demands selfishness, right? Because that's the truth of the matter. It demands it. It doesn't. There's no demand for you to be selfless. There's so many demands for you to be selfish because we live in a capitalistic society. And even if you didn't live in a capitalistic society, it's always survival of the fittest, not survival of the charities. You know, the most charities. That's not what it is. So when I think of people who are prioritizing their own needs for their crucial physical health, for their mental health, for personal growth. These are all things that have to be focused on to be built within. I mean, think about it. How can we help others if we're running on empty? Why do we believe that sometimes saying the word no is a bad thing when truth of the matter is that it's an act of self-preservation? That's the truth. It's absolutely an act of self-preservation. Why would you not want to save your own life? Hey, Airplane time. You're up there. That's got a problem in the airplane. Mask drop. What are we supposed to do, folks? What are we supposed to do? You put your own mask on first before you put the mask on of anyone else, even if it means your children. Because if you don't put yourself in the best position to be able to help them, you are screwed. Absolutely. You said it. Put your mask on first. I can hear people say, that's selfish. Keep in mind, outside of the terms of our women who turn around and say, I want to preserve my life for as long as possible. You know who the women I generally come across? Because keep in mind, the women are definitely out there. But the women that I tend to come across um, are women that after they've had a child or two, if they run into complications, as sad as they are, typically the thing that I have the conversation that I hear from these women, they say, Doctor, save my child. It's actually the men after a while they turn around and say, we will save her, we can make another. But it's the women I run across that turn around and say, save my baby. Especially if they're running, say, running up in age and they haven't had a child, save my baby. They take the risk. Not saying it's a great risk, not saying it's a smart risk, but I see them take the risk. And people will say, oh my goodness, she risked her own life so that her baby will be born without her. She's so selfless. And I go, no, I don't think so. You can look at it both ways, but I think she's being selfish. She doesn't believe that she can make another. She doesn't believe that she has more life to live. Of course she does. But she's like, I want this baby so damn bad. I am willing to risk the chance that I may not make it. That's an extreme amount of selfishness. I know people won't look at it that way. They won't look at it that way. That's exactly what it was. Especially in this day and age to do that when the idea of dying in childbirth is so low. You said not. You said not. Yeah, man. You said let her die. Let her die. You could die on the table. Damn. Listen, I guess it's how badly he wanted it, which means that he's also selfish. He's also selfish because maybe having a legacy is just more important to him. Possible. I know a guy who he's married to his wife. They have no children, and because of the complication that happened with his wife, they had to give up the child because he said that she was more important, and they still don't have any children because she's just too far along. You shouldn't hate it though. Self preservation is key. It is selfish, but self preservation has always been key. They try to moralize it and talk about this whole, wow, this man is blasting his music. I am imagining that there's some chick on his trunk just twerking. The music is so loud. Um, the idea of self preservation is just ridiculous. Like, of course, you're going to want to live. You have to place yourself in the best position to be able to take care of people. Let's just say if it's not your actual kids. Let's just say you give up and you want to do adoption. You still have to put yourself in the position to take care of them. That's just you're selfish too, by the way, because you decide to adopt rather than just say fuck it. I give up. I'm not gonna have my own kids because my womb can't take it. But I still want the kids so badly. I'm about to get me some foreign kids. Do you believe that Angelina fucking Jolie really took all these damn kids out of the goodness of our heart? Keep it a buck. She got so much money. She had so much money she could have had a surrogate. She could have had any white woman, any Latina, whatever. Any kid with an implanted egg right inside their uterus from Brad Pitt, should they choose. You really want me to believe that she was selfless by taking on all these kids? I think there was more to that. No, don't have any proof. It's just rather weird. True. And you know what? And perhaps she was. But let's just talk about how there was this weird aspect of them bringing in kids before really even getting married. I believe she was more selfish. I don't think and listen, and there might be something to it. But I think more time than not, because this is the thing. If she said, you know what, if the story was we are about to adopt this little kid because he just lost his parents, and we were good friends with the parents, and I don't want to see that kid without a stable, healthy environment. You know what I'm gonna say? You know what? You're selfless. I'll give it to you. You're selfless. When you turn around and say, I'm gonna pick out these little black kids and these little Asian kids, and these white kids, we gonna try to get every race, Brad. Every race. Am I supposed to believe that she's being altruistic? Am I really believing that she out there saving lives? All of a sudden, she designated herself the firefighter. More and more selfish. More and more selfish. The same way how I will say that Michael Jackson picking up these foreign kids to claim as his own was highly selfish. Do you believe he was being selfless with all his Jackson millions, probably billions? Do you honestly believe he took on the little brats because he was selfless? When he had some weird white woman turn around and say, I'm gonna give up my kid that's from someone else's nut as a gift? Do you believe that she was being selfless? Like, ooh, I didn't even think about that one. Was that white woman selfless? Was that white woman selfless for giving up her kid that belonged from a different nut to walk up to Michael Jackson and say, this is for you? Do you believe that the guy who raw dogged her said, we're doing this for Michael? That's a question. It's a question for you folks. I didn't even think about that until now. Do we believe that she ran across some guy, because we don't know who the guy is, who raw dogged her? He was all up in the fucking guts. So that he said, oh, give this one to Michael. You think he did that? You think he was also that selfless? He was just throwing his way a seed so that she can conceive, so that she can pass it on to Michael Jackson. Do you believe that was the plan? No, I think not. I think she was just in the right place at the right time, and she was able to give that out to Michael. I think regardless of what, that baby was going up for some form of adoption. I think she just got lucky, and Michael was a little sympathetic. And I think because that was the first baby, he was like, well, what should I do? It's not like I'm getting pussy. Sure, I'll take the baby. The baby's a gift. We already saw how he dangled the fucking baby like a fucking chicken over the fucking railing. Didn't know what the fuck he was doing. God bless those kids who are older now to turn around and go, I can't believe he dangled me like a fucking raw chicken over the fucking balcony. We want to believe that he was being selfless when he took on that kid. We want to believe that Michael Jackson was being selfless when he said, "Sure, sure, white woman, I'll take the baby for you." You think that's what happened? You think he turned around and said, "She's what? She's about to be an orphan? Oh no, I'll take that baby for you." You think he turned around and took the baby and then threw the blankie on the baby? Said, "You are not alone. I'll be." No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. He was absolutely 1000% selfish. I'm pretty sure that's not what happened. Michael Jackson had enough money that if he wanted to, he could have hired any vagina to sit on his shit, bleached or not, black and white. You want us to believe that he took that little baby out of fucking being selfless? No, not at all. That was 100% being selfish. Because I'll go back to uh a joke from Cat Williams. Whenever in history that we said, "Wow, look at Michael dating that girl. He must be beating that pussy up." Not never. That never happened. Never did we think that. Even when he was dealing with Lisa Marie Presley, we never thought he was clapping the cheeks. We never thought, man, Michael is fucking that pussy up. He is moonwalking all over that pussy. We never thought that. Never. We never thought about it. We never thought that that was the case. We never thought that he just be backshotting ow ever in her. We never thought that. We just thought, oh, that's a cute couple. That's it. We never thought that they were getting down and dirty. It wasn't a thing. Again, again, I think they did it for the sake of the media, which was also selfish. It was self-serving. So why do we look at all these things that happen when it oh mama, that you see you're gonna go to hell because you laughed at that. You're gonna go to hell because you laughed at that. And it was absolutely self-serving. We want to believe that these people are doing the best. And why is it we come to people who are in a position? Oh, by the way, I don't know why I didn't, but Joshua, thanks for stopping by, man. But why is it we have so many people that turn around and would think that it's not okay to be selfish, especially when you don't know what's the damage that you're actually giving to other people. You don't know that by helping someone else, you're causing more of an issue, and you don't know the people who are helping you. You don't know what their true intentions are. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So let's try looking at the flip side. When does self care cross the line and it becomes harmful? Harmful selfishness, like ignoring the needs of all others, damaging relationships, like leading to like isolation. Because I think there's a delicate balance that comes with being selfish. I think the people who are actually the ones who turn around, they're so altruistic and they're selfless. I think they do more harm to not only the people that they claim to help, but they do more damage to themselves. I'm not talking about the people who are well off to do, who just got lucky in life. Maybe they land the great job, or maybe, they found the right partner or whatever. They just so happen to have won the lottery and they did something well with themselves. Because that's not the majority of us. I would say average people go through average problems, and below average people go through more problems. Not everybody who goes to culinary school turns around and becomes a master chef that works at a fucking 3 to 5 star Michelin fucking restaurant. That just it doesn't really happen. It doesn't. If you're lucky, you went to a great culinary fucking art school and you're now at a fucking restaurant and you're fighting just to get your first star. You're fighting every year to get your first star. I hey, try telling them that. Try because when you say that's narcissism. When you say that, you potentially say that about Mother Teresa because she's on my list as being one of the most selfish people in the world. People will say she's selfless. Even she had doubts and regrets to the point where she pretty much stalked the Vatican because they had her letters. Even she, her faith waned. It did. In case you didn't know that, guys, Mother Teresa's faith waned. And she wrote her letters to the Lord saying she doesn't understand how hard it is, why it needs to be this way. Sometimes her faith is, she feels faithless or whatever. And the Vatican held on to the letters and she was like, please don't release the letters. Please don't release the letters. Everyone can fall short. Anyone can fall short. I think we should take the time to really acknowledge that about all people. But when we turn around and say, you're so selfish, you never do anything for anyone else, I go, it's probably because they're working on building themselves up. Oh, coming to the stage, man. What's good, locksmith?
How you doing, brother? So yeah, I've been listening. There's a lot of shit right now I relate to as far as what you're discussing. Um,
Lay your burdens down. This is a safe space, sir.
no, I know that. All you guys are great people, man. That's why I love you guys so much, man. Just wish I had more of an opportunity here lately to support you all.
Sir, you are
Yo, yo,
being selfish at the moment.
I ain't being
You can
selfish.
give back. You can give back to us once your cup is full.
Yeah. Well, it ain't full yet, man. I'm still doing drip by drip.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
So
you gotta wring the shit out that rag.
man, I'm fucking squeezing the fuck out of it, man. Just trying to make one drip drip, right?
I hear you.
So selfish and selfless and narcissist. Here lately, I've been watching a lot of content about narcissism.
Okay.
Um, I had no idea how much fucketry these kind of people really cause. Going through it again, and the different types of narcissism, covert, uh, uh, shit. What is that other one? Avoidant, all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, man, this is just so fucking. Why can't people just fucking just be real humans? Why?
Here's the funny part. I think they are.
Oh man,
I think they are being human.
you are you're right because there is a lot of fucketry in being a human, man. But why can't people just be good fucking people, man?
I think because let's just be honest. If we're going down to the base individual, because even the idea of looking after quote family, and I'll do it to I'll do it like other communities, other kingdoms within the animal kingdom, things like that. The thing that makes us different from other animals, please don't tell me you don't think that we're not animals. But anyway, you're allowed to have your opinion. But the thing that makes us different from other species of animals is the not just the imagination, because I do believe that other animals dream, so I do believe that they have imagination. They can learn.
Mhm.
But to the extent where they're able to build, shape, they build, capitalize, and shape off those things is something unique to human beings. It's unique to Homo sapiens. It is elephants are
Yeah.
super smart,
Yep.
super fucking smart. They can do so much stuff. But to imagine, to build, that's something that is a, a Homo sapien characteristic. They can figure out how to navigate what already exists to make use of something that already exists. But to build on something that doesn't exist is us. Now, even to the point where I will say from the older humans to quote the societal norms that we keep today, it is because, like, for instance, why is it that we don't? Okay, not going. I'm not going. Listen, I'm locksmith. You're as black as I am. I'm just
Yeah.
put that out there right
Uh,
now.
maybe blacker. I don't know.
All right. So there's a reason why families don't mate with each other anymore. They don't mate with each other anymore, and they help each other to survive. And the reason why they do that is not because they think that it's ew and it's taboo. That's not the reason why. The reason why is because if you help each other to survive by mating with people who are outside your gene pool, not only does it make stronger genes, but it actually increases your chances of your genetics making it to the next generation
Yeah.
healthy. Because
Yep.
obviously, if there were no quote genetic anomalies that took place within same sex and within incest, then we would just do that all the time. People would make fucking songs about fucking their brother.
No
They would
thanks.
do it all the time. Just be honest.
Nah, I
You
know.
would
I
have
feel you.
you would have mothers and fathers who would be having kids and they say, "Why you keep giving me all these sons? We need a daughter. We need one of them to have to have somebody with them." It's crazy. We would say like, obviously we need, and brothers and sisters will be getting each other all the time, or first cousins or whatever, all the fucking time. But because we have genetic anomalies, is why we decided not to do those things. That was also out of a what? Selfish nature to be able to quote survive.
Yeah, I get that 100%. I truly do.
Because
I
God
can't.
forbid if that wasn't the case, hey, to this day, we would really have racism. It would
Yeah.
be definitely all in the family.
Yeah. I just don't get females sometimes when it
Oh,
comes to
and let,
kids.
let me and let me just get to the point where you were making before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Part of the reason also why we're so complicated and why we're so selfish is because we're not allowed to be as honest as we should be. And let me tell you why we're not allowed to be as honest as we should be. Because we're penalized and we're demonized for quote being human. Because to be human is to have a very survivalist nature. For instance, I just made the case about us having survived with each other by copulating with people who are outside our gene pool. Think about rodents. They could be born to the same rodent. Brother and sister get on each other. There's no colony. There's no understanding of surviving to the next genes. It's straight up selfishness. Those who are considered brother, sister, mother, father, cousin, whatever, will fight each other for food. It's an extreme amount of selfishness. If it wasn't for the fact that we have this thing in our head that even makes it seem like killing one another is a bad thing, imagine what the human race would be like. If it was okay for you to beat somebody over the head and kill them over a Snickers bar because you really want that Snickers bar. It would be second nature to you. Oh no, go ahead. Absolutely, man. Once again, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, happy birthday.
People are innately selfish, but the most moralistic among us try to shame people for being that. I don't think there's a problem with it.
Well, no and yes. You know what
Okay,
I'm
well, give me
saying?
your yeah. Why yes?
Well, self-improving definitely. You need to take steps for that.
Well,
Um,
what do you mean in being selfless or selfish? Why is that a negative?
no, no, no. I'm not saying that's a negative. As far as like educating yourself better, getting a better position, as far as like a job and all that stuff. But no, I'm totally for that, right? Um, so it's like you guys know my situation to a degree.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it wrong for so let's just say you're with your son, right?
right. Yeah,
Let's just say your son likes to play basketball with you or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Is it self Jesus Christ. Sorry, huge motorcycle. Um, is it selfish for you to every time that you play basketball with your son, is it selfish that you don't want your son to beat you? So you keep
That's a
waxing his ass
competitive.
and ball.
That just depends on your competitiveness. Like somebody that's hyper competitive, of course they're not going to want that. It's a
Well,
learning
well,
lesson that
but the
you have to.
question, but the
Go
question
ahead.
is, but the question is it wrong for you to be selfish in saying that you don't want your son to beat you? You can think about it. Take your time and think about it.
Well, as a father, um, I want him to have a competitive edge,
Cool.
but I also want him to learn, and I also want him to enjoy the game. Because if you're constantly losing, especially when you're a child at different age development,
Hmm.
it can definitely hinder their spirit to continue. Like
I
they're
think
constantly losing.
yep. I think so, but I
Yep.
think if the person they lose to
Yes.
is able to mold them in a way. So for instance, so the reason why so for instance, I mentioned culinary earlier, right? I could have been a really good chef. I had to learn through cooking from my grandmother. And when I didn't do good in cooking, she let me know. She let me know. I didn't get to a point where I just got so defeated for the fact that I just couldn't make things better at as good as she was. Because she behind her ruthlessness in the kitchen, if you want to put it that way, was the lesson of as to why she was doing it in the first place. And I didn't understand that lesson until she told me way later on. I thought that me cooking was a punishment at first. Um, it came from you learn with me in the kitchen to you have to do it, and then I'm critiquing the shit out of you. To the point where if we had the money, which was rare that it took place, maybe it was around close to holidays or whatever. But you know what we would do? We would basically do like a small, like kind of cook off. We would both cook the same dish. And she was much older, more frailer, but she still had the game. We would do it like we would cook the same dish and then try each other dish. And then if I felt short, you know what I was typically doing? I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, was it because I didn't add enough salt? Because I saw her grab this salt? Was it because it was too salty? Because like I'm comparing her dish to my dish and going, why is it that hers turned out exactly the way I want mine to turn out? I think I did everything that she did and it didn't turn out. And then after a while, you know what we will always do, and I do this, and I didn't realize it was something that chefs actually do that they torture other chefs with doing. You eat your bad cooking. You may not give it to everybody else, but you have to turn around and eat your bad cooking. it's a bit of
Quality
punishment.
control.
So, but she would come to me later on. She wouldn't tell me what she did wrong. Well, what I did wrong, but then she would say like, "Where do you think that you fell short?" And I would go through a conversation with her, and then she was like, "You may be leaning in the right direction. I want you to think about it a little bit more." And I would sit there overnight thinking about, "Oh shit, she did this," and I wasn't paying attention. Then I ignored it, thinking I didn't need that. I think that if we're gonna go turn around the basketball, right? You wouldn't want your son to just give up on the game because you're just so much better. But you want to give him enough training to say that you need to understand that if you keep working at it, you'll get to at least my level. And if you get to my level, just let you know that you're that much closer to beating me. Or you do this. I just waxed your ass, but you compliment them and say, "Yo, you did better than last time. One of these days you're gonna wind up beating me, man. You're gonna wind up beating me. One day you like, it's the same way we say about fathers and sons. One day you might get strong enough to beat my ass, but today is not the day. It's not the day."
Yeah, facts 100%. Yeah, it takes a unique person to be able to be a good teacher, instructor, and stuff
Agreed.
like that.
I agree.
Um, and not everybody, just because you might be amazing at one thing and you're trying to teach somebody or show somebody, you might not be that person to be able to teach,
Yeah.
and it definitely takes a unique person to understand that people develop differently and have different ways of learning. It's just like when I used to teach Taekwondo, Hapkido, and MMA. It takes a unique person to be an instructor that can
Yes, it
understand
does.
that biomechanically, not everybody is even remotely the same. Just because somebody might be great at one movement, the next person might not be, but they might be great at something
All
else.
right, mama.
But what I'm getting at is back to the basketball. I want my son to be great at it, everything, and
Of course.
I'll definitely be critiquing him. Um, and in my world, my mentality, there's no giving up. You conquer. That's been my mindset ever since I was younger than him, and he's 9. And I'm trying to show him that way, but his mother's is different.
So,
Go ahead.
did you see the video that I played in the very beginning? It was a conversation that I had about this aspect of being selfish, right? And it's a kind of a made up video, but it falls in line with how I got to be the way that I am.
The
I'll
Joker
play it for
one,
you. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, I've heard that one quite a bit. It hit
So
home with me.
the I think for a long time, not even think. I know for a long time because I was a small kid. I'm still kind of a small guy. For a long time, I was always underestimated for my size.
Yeah,
And I had a lot of fights. I had a lot of people pick on me, whether they were tall or stocky, whatever. And I also was dealing with like a very tumultuous household. That by the time I kind like looking at it so many years later on, when I'm hearing this thing, I'm going, I wholeheartedly agree with it. When I
yeah,
got when I got nasty, when I got dangerous, most of all when I got comfortable with my bad side, with my dark side, and I got comfortable with the really the side that I grapple with when I think like I really want to break someone's bones. When the first time I really did it, I was in junior high school, and I had a fight with somebody, and I literally had him in a leg lock. I mean, wrestling was big back then. Everybody was watching wrestling, whatever, and I had him like in a leg hold, and I was just like, and the teacher was like, "Just get off him, get off him." And I just looked at him, and he cursed, and I just went for it, and I pulled it like I was trying to pull apart like Thanksgiving turkey,
yeah,
and it did damage. But the same thing happened with a young lady who I lost my temper with, and She kicked me right in the crotch, and I hit her right in the chest. I mean, I hit her hard with everything I had, and it wound up sending her to the hospital. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, trying to explain. I wish I knew what like what the Joker was saying in that. I think it would have been awesome. I was sitting there with the dean, and I was trying to explain like people pick on me all the time. You can't be mad at the fact that I fight back. You can be
Yeah.
mad that I have the attitude that I have. And keep in mind, the people who are moralistic, people who are altruistic, will shame you in a way that make you feel like you being angry is a bad thing. You expressing yourself is a bad thing. I think about the people who, when we talk about the hyper masculine, as being masculine, you're not allowed to express yourself. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to get angry. You're not like, you know, this hyper expression of stoicism. Like shit happens and you just have to stay silent. You have to be Chevy like a rock, just quiet all the time.
I'm even
And I'm like, it's
trying that right
bullshit.
now. I'm trying to go the stoic route right now in
I,
my situation.
I think it's bullshit. I don't
It,
think that.
it is because the motherfucker in me right now just wants to snap the fuck off. But I'm really not in a position to right now.
Mm,
And what I mean by that is that for the listeners who don't know, um, my son's mother and I broke up 11 years, and right now I'm dealing with the situation of my son having more time, being a father. We all know children do better with their fathers than their mothers for the most part, statistically showing.
hmm
And with her new career now,
Oh, she got a job. Okay.
oh yeah, she got she was hired before she graduated, brother.
Oh, I knew she was looking last time, but okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then when she got that degree, that's when I got the curve. So common now that I'm understanding things and looking back and reflecting. But she's not even around to spend time with my son. And this isn't just this is coming from her aunt that has quite a bit of wealth, and she's being avoidant by staying over there. Now she's living there and
Oh, she's living with the aunt, with the sister.
with her aunt, yeah. And her aunt has expressed that she knows there's three sides to a story: her side, my side, and the truth. Um, she's part of an HR department.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's an executive for a huge corporation in an HR department, and she's trying to be fair about it. And same thing with her husband. He's an amazing guy. Um, but I'm not so sure that the aunt is trying to be fair because of some of the comments. The son's mother, she's being an avoidant right now and has been. There's practically no communication. I'm fine with no communication as far as um, cause
You and her, but not the child.
yeah, and the child, there's things that need to be talked about, discussed as parents, as adults, in adult manner. I'm past the point of what she's done to me and what I've done to her in the past. Um, I can't sit back and keep reflecting on that. I have to move forward. And I am trying my best to figure out what's best for my son. You know, she's trying to pretty much manipulate the situation to where I'm only gonna get every other weekend, where she was staying before she graduated, is 7 minutes down the street, and now it's 35 minutes down the street. And now today she's enrolled my son into a school that's further away. So now, if I need to see my son or want to be involved with my son, that's at least a 90-minute commute to drop
So
off, then
you mentioned
back home.
something, right?
Go ahead.
You mentioned something.
Go
You
ahead.
say you mentioned that it's the influence that's taking place, but also when it comes from like her, right? So what about the influence that takes place with her sister and her husband when she's at work and she's not in play? What's the narrative that's what's the scuttlebug about you when she's not around?
Um, so I have not really said my piece, and I don't want to. 'Cause I'm trying to be a man about it, and I'm trying not to.
Well, what
And
does
it's
that
not a.
mean?
What I
What
mean is
does that
that
mean?
men don't have a safe space. We know that. Um,
Well, you said her husband. You said the sister's husband's reasonable.
aunt and uncle, aunt and uncle.
Well,
Yeah,
the uncle. You said he's a reasonable person. You don't think he's
yeah.
not
I
willing
know.
to hear out your side?
Oh, absolutely. He's already told me. He's like, dude, I know you're an amazing guy. When I went
Okay.
over there to go pick up my son one time, he was like, I know you're an amazing guy. I don't know what the hell is happening. I'm here for her. I'm here for you, and I'm here for your son. I'll do whatever I can. And I truly believe that from his side, absolutely, 100%. And
It's
her aunt
sounds
even
like you
said
have
that
knowledge
too. Well,
within
see,
reason. Within reason. Well,
it's still family.
when I hear
It's
you
still
say
family.
yeah, when I hear you say you're being a man and you're not really talking about it, right? The it's part of the issue where I say like when we're talking about the quote being selfish part. Now I'm not
Yeah,
saying being going hysterical, being belligerent or anything, but it doesn't mean that you don't need someone to talk to because I think that
I
this
do.
whole altruistic thing of being stoic and just not saying shit because you're this is the thing about that we say all the time, and this is something that falls against stoicism. Closed
Yep.
mouths don't get fed.
You're
You
absolutely
know,
right.
so if you don't state what your grievances are and other people are, it means that what they're saying has more validity than what you're saying. Now, I'm not saying there needs to be a combating, but there needs to be an understanding. So that means if you're not going to combat with the mother, which I would wholeheartedly say your communication with her, it should be nil, done. Um, the most
It is
important part
pretty
is
much.
your
It
son.
it
But
it,
for
it
the
really is.
people who should be who are chaperoning your son when you are quote not around, because
Yep.
in my personal opinion, it's just my opinion. When there should not really be other people chaperoning your son if you are available.
100%. hundred
Um,
percent.
but for the people who are, there should be an understanding that while they may be in favor of her, especially because she is around them more, she's living under their roof. There should also be a point where maybe they don't argue with her, maybe they don't combat the fact that she's angry or even bitter, but there should be a clear understanding of we're like, we're gonna hear what you have to say, sweetheart, because we understand that you're a bad and everything, and we're not going to combat against that because we know that's gonna be a battle that we don't want to go through. But to hear your side out to say, cool, at least we know what he's going through. Because if it's one sided and you keep that shit to yourself, it doesn't turn out well. Again, you have the uncle who is cool. And I'm not saying there needs to be a talk where you are, quote, shitting on the mother of your child, but you do need someone who is, quote, there, who has an eye on your child, who understands not just that you're a good guy, but understands, at least from your perspective, how you see things. Not what your opinion on or her is, but just what you see of what the situation is from your perspective. Because the issue is that she's given everything. She's given all her perspective. She's given the fact that you're probably a terrible human being or whatever. The things that go wrong in relationships.
So
Um,
terrible, you gonna be with somebody for 11 years.
I'm. I mean, I just think that if you have another male, uh, because if this is her sister, it's probably best that you speak to the husband as well. I mean, she's probably cool. She's probably a cool person too, but she's not gonna go up against her blood. End of the day, that's
See,
it. And
that's
again,
what
we're
I
not and we're not looking for someone to go up against blood. We're not looking for that.
no,
Um,
not at
but
all.
the idea is that they have an understanding of what your side is. Like let's just say she doesn't agree. She doesn't agree with your she doesn't agree with your side. She understands what it is. And I'm not saying, it's a whole you walk up, you have a conversation, bitch this, that, tramp this, how could she do this? I was there for this. Like none of that matters. It's all gone. It's all happened already. As I say, used to be's don't make no honey. That shit's it's over and done with. But to say like, I love my son, right? I don't I don't know if you know that I love my son. You know, I want to spend as much time with him, whatever. I know that she's probably angry and she probably says, probably, I'm going to give her a credence, probably says some disparaging things about me. But I just hope at the times where she's not around and you are looking after my son, I'm hoping that you do your due diligence and just, you really emphasizing to him that I really love him and I really want the best for him.
They see it.
No, but that's the thing. They see it,
No,
but
they
it's important that they say it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They do. They do.
And
They
then
see
that's
it.
great. That's great.
Yeah. They see this just alone with this past summer, man. Um, where son's mother volunteered me to pay for camp. I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
Um, she's not paying a portion of it, by the way, but okay, I'm fine with that. That's my son. I want the best for him. Um, but she also volunteered my time to uh, drive from my location to her aunt's house, which is 35 minutes, then drive to another location and drop her son off and my son off at camp, which is another 25, 30 minutes, and then drive all the way back home, which is another 40 minutes. That's a 90-minute commute first thing in the morning. And they see how dedicated I am to my son and even their son. Um, and the communication is pretty much strictly between her aunt and myself. Um, because she is such, my son's mother, is such an avoidant and doesn't want to have any kind of communication. That's fine. You know, between her and I, our shit is done. After what I stumbled across on my son's tablet, we are done. There's
Okay.
no taking. There's no taking her back.
So let let
Go ahead.
let's get to the heart. I don't want to get too far off on it, and I don't like I said like I say when we open our mouths, we tell the world who we are. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
well you wish for the world to know about your business, but to tie
Um,
it back to what we're going on here is we according to you there is a part of her where it is wholeheartedly selfish, whether her actions to the point where how the separation went to how she is
covert.
treating you, how the treatment that happens to you happens when you're not around. I would ask, in what ways do you feel that you should be selfish, and what would that look like in you expressing that in a quote healthy manner?
Well, if I had the money for it, man, that'd
Hmm?
be quite easy.
Okay.
What I mean by is, I know there's gonna be a time that we're gonna have to go to court, and I don't want to, and I don't know if she wants to, but she truly wants the control, and that sucks, man. It sucks for my son. Sucks for her aunt and uncle and their child. It sucks for,
Oh, they also have children. Okay.
well, yeah, um, and it sucks for my son's half sister, the oldest one, and it sucks for my little girls, and it sucks for me. You know, it's just a sucky fucking situation. This is what men find themselves in all the fucking time. And man, if I had the funds to get a father's rights lawyer, I would go for it. And you know, I'm not seeking 100% custody, dude. It's important for children to have both parents in their lives. It's so important. And unless that person is completely ratchet, crackhead, all that shit, then that's a different situation. But you know, she has an older daughter that was neglected by her father, who became my child, and you know, they've allowed her to isolate herself and become mentally unstable. I don't need that shit with my kid. There's already one child that is a grown up now that is already screwed up in the head because allowing a child to have a say so in their life almost all the time.
So
It, it,
let me ask you the question.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you, what does the act of being a little bit more selfish look like to you today? Without the money, what did it look like from the tangible things that you could act on today? What would it look like?
If I could be selfish right now,
Yes, sir.
and if I can get my mind right now, will be to crush it and get my company going. That would be selfish, but it would also put me in a better position financially to be able to do things later down the road that needs to be accomplished.
So what is it that you feel like you would need? Let's just say it's Wednesday, right? It's
Yeah.
Wednesday. Let's just say by Saturday, what is it that you think you would need to have in place?
As far as what, crushing it?
As as far, well, not crushing it, but to have a good foothold in having your company started. What do you think you can get done in the short amount of days that are happening for the end of this week?
It's truly not that hard. The last two pieces of the puzzle, it truly isn't. Um, but you got to have your mind right to finish up, and that's, dude, this killed me.
Do you not think that you don't have the mindset to get that part done, especially when you already have something that is well worth the fight for?
Um, I do have the mindset, but there
Okay,
are always setbacks. There are
if
always
you have the
setbacks.
mindset,
Yeah, yeah,
let's again. I'm not gonna tie you to finances.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna talk about what you can do.
yeah.
If we're saying that it's Wednesday now, we're talking about by Saturday midnight. What do you think you can get done since you said that you have the mindset? What do you think that you can achieve to get done that you haven't already gotten done already? That you know that you should already have done?
That's just it, Res. I've done everything I can as far as getting it up, getting it to a position. I'm at the very last two pieces that unfortunately has to deal with finances. I have my own equipment, my own supplies, my own van, EIN number, domain name, but it's just the last part of being in compliance with the Commonwealth, that takes money. And
you don't have to say anything to me, but
yeah,
I want you to think about how much money it would take for you to see that realized, and then to ask yourself the question outside of your normal job,
yep.
what other ventures that you're probably not looking at that you could possibly do to try to get yourself into that business, to get yourself off the floor, to gain the income.
Again, it's just two pieces of puzzle that require finances. So put it this way,
Well,
okay?
what I'm asking is,
Yeah.
what are some things that you want to do outside of what you already are doing to gain that financial independence?
I'm doing everything I can right now, man. I mean, I almost lost my job a couple weeks ago because I blew the fuck up. And it was a real eye awakening for the owner of the company and also for myself. But it was a lot of shit that needed to be said. And now I'm making a little bit more money because of what I said and how I said it. Um, but it's still not enough to where I can get this shit rolling.
Okay,
And
so
what really hurt me right now
mhm.
is having to pay for the camp.
Okay,
Yeah,
but we're back to that because we know
yeah,
expenses come, the
yep,
unexpected stuff comes.
yep,
What exactly? And I can't say anything for you.
yeah.
I'm trying to have you think like outside of the things that you currently know that you do to build an income, the things that you know that are that are quote stable. What are some things that you could possibly do that are quote not considered conventional that you might be willing to do in order to gain an extra foothold?
Dude, I wish there was more time, man, in a day.
Well,
Dude,
here's the thing about more time. More
yeah,
time does not constitute more energy. More more time does not constitute more focus within time. Because let's just be honest, some of us work 8-hour days, some of us work 4-hour days, some of us work 6, some people work 16. God bless them. But they're not busy the entire day. They may be only busy 4, maybe 5 hours, like really focused. So if you were outside of your normal hours, what would you be willing to really commit focus to in order to make sure that you had a little extra in your pocket?
you do what you got to do to bring in side income if you have to, okay? So let me
I,
just tell
I hear
you
you.
this.
Mhm.
Let me just tell you. So yesterday, get up at 6 o'clock a.m. You go pick up my kid and his cousin, take them to camp. It's 90 minutes at least commute right there. First thing right off bat. Get home, got to eat something. Um, Maintaining a household here. Um, and then preparing and get ready for work. You know what time I got home this morning? Hold on a second. Yeah, bub. Yeah, just give me a couple more minutes, okay? Love you. So, 6 a.m. yesterday morning. You know what time I got home this morning? 9
No.
a.m. 9 a.m. 9 a.m. That's the time I got up this morning. Or that's the time I got home. And about 40 minutes to crash. That's the kind of motherfucker I am when it comes to trying to provide for my kids. My kids were born, their first 2 years, did not take a single day off. 12, 16-hour days, sometimes longer than that. And here I am. They're at 9 years old, 6 a.m. to the next morning at 9 a.m. So your question is, what would I be willing to do? Everything, everything.
I hear you. I hear you. It sounds like you have a lot of your time being spent up. Um,
Unfortunately, yes. And like how you were saying, like people might work 8, 12, 16-hour days. They might actually only work 4 hours a day. Yeah, it also depends on the setting and what kind of job and all that stuff. You're absolutely right.
very true. Very true.
Yeah. But somebody like me, it's a mobile service driving around from one location to another location to another location. You know, I'm not just sitting, I'm driving, you know. So, and people don't realize that how tiring and worn out you can actually get from driving as a truck driver, you know, and that's just
Uh,
drive.
well, I've met some truck drivers. Said some say that the work is really grueling, and the others they're just like, no, it's not that hard. So it's been back and forth when I speak to truck drivers. I think about
Especially with a
the
long hauler.
well, some people just become really adept at it because I've
Yep.
seen really good truck drivers, and I've seen some truck drivers, and it's like, what the fuck is taking you so long?
So let's say this, since we're speaking about a truck driver, what if there's unlimited time that they're allowed to legally drive? Then
Unlimited?
yeah, in a day's time. So, because they're limited to what, like 10 hours, maybe?
I guess it depends on the distance and what they're carrying,
Right.
and
So,
the season and weather.
so if they're allowed to have unlimited and they can drive 24 hours, don't you think that owner of that company, most of the time, most companies, especially big corporations, would try to really fucking push them? But legally now they can't. You understand where I'm getting at? Sorry, I don't. It's totally silent.
Oh, sorry, that was me. That was me. That was me. Um, so Lou, I think about company statutes, right?
Yep.
When we talk about these people,
Hmm.
they say, "quote You can work 40 hours or whatever."
Yeah.
They didn't say that you couldn't work 40 straight hours.
Yeah.
They didn't. Technically, technically it would be legal and you could do it. Companies make sure that they're not up for any liability, so that's why they end up breaking up the hours. But
True.
federally, there's nothing that actually said that you couldn't work, all those hours straight through. I know what it's. I would hate to ever do that again, but I know what it's like to work literally 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people who have. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, God bless the people who work 16 because they're saying that they want to work the everyday average, and I'm like, fuck that. You know, so to say
Me.
that there would be a company that would allow someone to work 24 hours, I think that again, people are different. But I think that truck driver who would allow someone to work them like that is not a great judge of character.
No. Not at all. Not at all. So it's
You
like
know,
here in the Commonwealth, I believe laws here will only allow you to legally drive up to 8 hours, and you
sounds about
gotta have
right.
yeah, and you gotta have it logged in. If you're a truck driver, you gotta have log books. Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Because these
The way
motherfuckers,
the way how I did things in one of the last companies that I contracted with was that we had a maximum of 10. You may be scheduled for 8, but we had a maximum of 10. After 10, you gotta stop.
yeah,
Oh, I can keep going. Sure you can. Stop.
yeah,
So I think even though if people could work them, even if they volunteer to, we have to have things in place in order to stop them. But what I ask those same truck drivers when I say like, like what do you oh, I kind of make money on the side. And I go, if you're on the road all the time, how the fuck do you make money on the side? And they tell me like they're doing surveys or they're doing whatever, or they have somebody in the cabin with them that runs their own business, or maybe they do something
Yeah.
online, like they're online truckers, like they're talking
Yep.
about trucking and everything while they're online, and they're getting like, and I'm just like, that's smart.
It
It's
is
smart.
utilizing the time while they're down. Absolutely, 100%.
So like, so I asked like, what exactly are people doing when they're still doing things if they really want somebody making them extra money?
Yeah, I wish I was more into this computer world, man. Because there'd be definitely a
Gotta
lot of
gotta get into it. There's a
I
market for
know.
everybody.
Yeah, you're absolutely 100%. Because yeah, it's definitely an easy way of making some revenue that I'm seeing. Um, uh,
I think about the examples that we have in the real world of like so I think about like the people who are often facing public criticism, like Elon Musk, because there are plenty of people who look at him and say that he definitely has a lot of selfish actions. You know, you consider him being an entrepreneur, he's pretty much relentless. People will say that he's selfish, while other people just look at him and say that he's a visionary. I see both as being positives. Plenty of people will say that that selfish part is a negative. Um, and I just ask people where exactly do they draw the line between ambition and selfishness? Because I think you have to be pretty selfish. You have to be pretty ambitious about being selfish. You have to, you know, even when they turn around and say how selfish he is, he invests that money into doing other things that, quite frankly, put other people on the map. Building a company and putting that company
yeah.
in different areas gave jobs to people who didn't have them before.
So my question is, or my statement, more or less, you're talking about selfish and selfless. So,
Correct.
and you brought up Elon Musk. So, yeah, he might be selfish, but he's also selfless at the same time if you really think about it. And he's a hard-working individual. I mean, he's a
Yes.
madman,
Yes.
and that's fantastic. But being selfless of what he's doing, he's actually making this a better world. What he's producing.
So that's the point though, because
Yeah,
you have the people
per-
out there that talk about being selfless, right?
yep.
But then you ask at the end of the day, outside of just saying, I feel good about what I did, what results do you really have?
Mhm.
Because the people who I visit the most moralistic and I'll even say the most faith driven, it's like they're doing it for extra points on the Heaven Express.
Right.
It did nothing to really change the course of someone's life.
Mhm.
Because there are people who turn around and say that they help people who are homeless or drug addicted, whatever, because I gave them $20 or whatever. Now they took the $20 to fucking shoot up. And then they'll turn around and say something like, well, I gave them $20. I didn't tell them to shoot up. But they didn't have the means to shoot up until you gave them the $20. You don't see how you're being hurtful. You're being harmful rather than helpful. You're doing it for yourself, which is you're saying you're being selfless, but you're being selfish because you're doing it to feel good, not to do good. When someone comes to me, for instance, I had this guy, it's about close to a week now. When he came by, I was walking to the train station. He said, "Yo, I was just wondering if you can buy me an orange juice." I'm looking at him. Doesn't look homeless. He just looked like he didn't have enough money in his pocket. And I'm just like, I want a Red Bull anyway. Fine. So I walk in there and I buy myself a Red Bull and I buy him an orange juice. I didn't ask for no change. I asked for nothing. I just said, "Yo, this is from a man over here." I said, "Okay, cool." And he just said, "Yo, thanks for everything." That's no problem. And he went his way and I went mine. I didn't ask for anything in return. That's not me being selfless. Now, in my mind, I didn't care. I If I don't care about the funds, I'm not thinking about being selfless. Because here's the funny part about it. I'm hoping that if I'm in that situation, not necessarily for fucking orange juice, but if I'm in a situation where I need something, someone is gonna be in kind willing to do something for me because
Agree
someone
with that.
has been at some point in kind with. I don't. It's not even a matter of karma. I
Yeah,
just think it's a good natured thing to do to people who are because here's the thing. He could
100%.
have he could have said nothing, or he could have been a dick about it.
Yep.
He could have been, quite frankly, someone who's willing to rob somebody to go steal their credit card to do a quick swipe.
Yep.
He could. There's so many aspects of things. He was nice. He was respectful. He asked me kindly, and it just so happens that he ran across me where I was just like, "Fuck it, we're right here. Why not?"
Yep.
And I do that. Sometimes I like if I see how much someone's waiting, like if I'm online and they're behind me and I see that they have very small thing, I'm buying 5 things. They got one thing on them and they're behind me. I'm like, how much is that? $3? Man, put that shit up there. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. He's like, no, no, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. Oh, I'll give you $3. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. This is what I tell people. You give me the $3, I won't know what to do with it. I literally have fucking dollar bills sitting in my fucking drawer because I don't spend dollars. I use my card. I got dollar bills sitting around. I just give it to my girl and say, just do something with it, store it somewhere, whatever,
Yep.
because she'll probably use it before I do. I don't spend fiat. I don't spend physical currency on shit.
Which is
I just
smart if
don't.
you're using credit cards because you're building up your score, man. As long as you're paying the shit off, man.
Oh, my score is excellent. I'm
Yep.
in the high 700s. Like,
That
I
rocks, bro.
wish you would crack eights. Like, I'm in the high 700s. It's been like that for years. But I'm like, I don't use physical currency. I'm not gonna. You think I'm gonna go to a bank to drop off currency? It's just not me.
Yeah.
So I give it to my girl. She uses it for whatever, or, maybe once in a while when she orders food, she'll tip them with actual physical money. I don't do it. It's not important to me. So I'll literally tell somebody who's like, if I'm buying a whole bunch of shit and then they just want a beer, man, put the fucking beer up there. I got you. That's my good deed for the day. I do a good deed a day. It might be a woman who's got kids in a stroller. It might be one guy who just want to buy a fucking beer. I got you. I don't think you're gonna get lit off your one fucking thing of beer. I got you. Don't worry about it. Take your beer, go on. Have a good night. Have a good day. That's it.
So yeah, I feel you on that, man. It's definitely selfless.
I don't see it as being selfless. To me, I would hope somebody would do it because here's my thing. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm doing something that's life changing.
No, but
To me, being selfless is me going out of my way to do something for someone else. I don't
yes,
feel like I'm going out of my way.
and you
That's
might
the
be
thing.
that one person in that whole day that was actually kind with humanity towards that person.
I mean, possibly. I just never see myself as going out of my way. In my mind, someone does something nice for someone in their own way, whether it's holding the fucking door, to paying someone a compliment on how they look, like because you don't know the thing that you do for somebody might change their whole outlook and it for the day. Sometimes just holding the door for somebody just goes, "You're holding the door?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, thank you. I don't know how that does things for them. Yo, I walk by, yo, yo, yo. Where you get those frames from? Like they thinking I'm about to stick them up or say something like, yo, yo, hold, wait, 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 wait. And look at me like, I was like, those frames are fucking fire. Where you get those frames from? Or yo, those shoes are fucking fire. Where you get those from? And it's just like they're thrown off guard now because they're thinking they're about to be in a situation that's just like someone complimented me. I literally have had a woman walk by me in the city and I just go, "Excuse me, miss. Excuse me, miss." And she's not paying attention to me. I literally walked up to say, "Hey, I was talking to you." She said, I was like, "I just want to acknowledge the fact that you have on a sundress. It is so refreshing to see a sundress because everybody's fucking wearing jeans all day. I just wanted to say thank you. That I think you made my day." And she was like, "You're the first person to say something about my dress all day. I think you made my day." Sometimes it's just acknowledging that people exist and the small things that do that sometimes gives you gratitude and you just being gracious towards them. I don't think it's me being selfless for expressing the fact that people are human.
True.
If I see somebody struggling, patting themselves down because he's trying to pay for fucking a thing of diapers, you got kids.
Yeah,
You think I'm gonna have you sitting here fucking doing all this shit for? Keep in mind, diapers are expensive, by the way.
they are.
But like, dude, you're telling me you're struggling for $2 extra in diapers? Fuck, here's the fucking diapers. Take it, go. Like, Just go. If it's not gonna break my pockets, if I'm not thinking about it, because if I'm like, I mean, look at it this way. I'm not really the type of person that does this, but if I think about it, think to myself, if I was gonna waste it drinking, if I was gonna waste it getting pizza, if I was gonna waste it on a super chat, I can waste it on you.
Hey, Reza, I hate to stop you right there, but I just want to
You're
get
good.
your opinion. I mean,
You're good.
you all matter. You all got great opinions, and I think I do too at times too. Um, so just to give you a scenario today, selfish, selfless.
Go for it.
So when my son's mom called me because she was pulling up to drop my son off, and this is the first time we spoke in about 3 weeks. Last time she got ratchet on me in in front of my son when I told her, Let not do this right now. Let's not do this right now in front of again today. Okay, I'm pulling up. Okay, and she's like, my son's gonna be going to the school where her aunt and uncle live, where his district would actually be 5 minutes away for school from my location and her other location. So I told her her aunt about it too, because she was inquiring about it. I told her that, I want 50-50 custody. She's not going to have it. I'm aware of that.
You told the ant that.
Yeah. She's trying to moderate.
I got you.
Um, and she's like, she's not going to want that. I was like, well, I'm entitled to it. We're in the same state. Um,
It's a win.
can be.
Well, it's a. I mean, I'll look at the way how red pillars have said it, and even how divorce attorneys have said it. A male asking for 50-50 is a win.
Yeah.
A woman asking for full custody is a win. If you win 50-50, she loses. But
Yeah.
if you ask for full custody, you're gambling.
That ain't going to happen unless it's an extreme circumstance. Or if I've got
Correct.
$35,000 to
We,
pay for a
wait,
lawyer.
wait, 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 wait. And even if they're still gambling, because she could be a
Yeah.
crackhead and still get fucking custody. All right,
Yeah.
like,
You're absolutely right. You're
it's a
absolutely right.
gamble.
So she mentioned her aunt was like, yeah, your son was talking about going to the same school as her son. It's a better school and all of this. I was like, yeah, I understand that. I'm sure of that. But you got to think about the commute and stuff. This is 90 minutes just for me to drop them off to camp. Once I leave the house till I return to the house. She's like, yeah, I know. I told her that. And, I've got my own family I got to worry about. She was like, she's my son's mother. She's going to have to help out too. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So what's feasible for everybody is for him to go into his normal district school versus going to her his cousin's district school, right? I was like, I don't even know if she's planning on staying here with you guys or going back to where she was. But it seems like she's trying to. I didn't say this to her aunt, but it seems like
Okay.
she's using that household to manipulate an entire situation to where.
Uh,
Go
very
ahead.
possible.
Yeah,
Possible.
because
Yeah.
the boys, my son and his cousin, only a year apart. They get along. They have fun. They're boys, typical boys, and so it is good for my son to be around his cousin, but it's more important for my son to be around his father.
Agreed.
Okay. And her manipulating the situation of where she's being avoidant from being down here, 7 minutes down the street, to being 35 minutes away, right? To where she doesn't have to deal with me. And that's fine. But don't manipulate the situation to where now it's going to be a problem and problematic for me and for my son, to where he doesn't get a chance to be around his father more. Where I've been involved with my son's life his entire life. So what I'm getting at is like today, she dropped him off. She said he's not probably, he's going to that school. I'm like, well, I appreciate the conversation we've had about it. Um, but you do realize that you and I have a lot of things that we need to discuss as adults, as a parents, and we can have an adult conversation. And it seems like every time I've said that, that's when it snaps in her, or she starts getting aggressive. And she's doing that again today.
Question.
I'm just trying to figure out how to go about it where she's not doing that. And
So
especially in front of my son. The last two times is when he's in the car, man.
question.
Yeah.
You guys have been doing this for a little this dance for a little while. You pretty much should already know the steps to the music. Um,
Not if somebody's being avoidant.
right. But at the same time, you guys have been doing this for a little while. Let me just ask the question to you, because we're not gonna assume what's going on through our head, because here's what we're going to assume. Let's just put this out there. We're going to assume that she's in the same financial pinch that you are, and
She's
she's
not.
stacked. Let me put it out there. We're gonna assume that she's in the same financial pinch that you are, because if she wanted to, she would have easily took the shot at you already.
As far
She would.
as
As
court,
far as court,
I
why
don't
is
think
it that
so.
why is it that you haven't already petitioned the court to make sure that you have it more on your side? Because it's something that we already had here. It's something we already see
Yep.
statistically. The person who files first, or the person who goes to court first, has more leverage. Why haven't you gone first? If you know that all roads may lead to that, why not pull the report first? As you stated earlier, you know there's no reconciliation.
Yeah.
So what are you waiting for?
So there's a couple things. Okay. No excuse.
Don't
Just
say I love her. Don't say that.
no, I'm not going to, man. I'm done with that.
Okay.
I'm done with that. Um, it's time. If you really want something to get done, you can get it done. But when you're in family court, dude, that's a minimum of 15 proceedings that gets drawn out, and that's just not 1 hour
I
at
I
the
hear you.
court.
I
Those
I
are many hours, including commute time.
I
I
I hear you, but let me
yep,
let me let me get down to the point of what we're saying here in
but
this
also
episode.
finances.
Let me get down to what we're saying in this episode.
Yep.
If you're saying that's a lot of hours, it's a lot of time.
No, it's not just hours, but it's also finances. I
I,
have a man is stupid to go to court, especially family court without representation. We see that all the time, especially with Tom's show TPO.
absolutely.
You're gonna get
I'm
your
not
fucking ass handed to you.
absolutely. Now, there are some questions that need to be asked. Number
Yeah.
one, you understand there's a whole lot of time, right?
Yeah.
But if we're talking about in the sense of selfishness, now I could be wrong. I never went through this situation, but if we're talking about how people have we been, you and I've been having this conversation about people who are inherently selfish, and God, how people can be selfish.
Yeah.
When she decides that she's stacked up enough, that she's, and I say enough money, enough time, enough losing patience before she decides to pull that ripcord, because it's not a matter of if, it's
It's
a matter
when.
of when.
Yep. Yep.
And when can put you in a very nasty situation.
It
When
sure.
can hit you, when can hit you harder, n- harder later than it does now.
Yep.
So my question is, if she's stacking up for when, I will always ask you as to how you plan on preparing for it. And
It's mind
if it's a
fuck.
matter of, and if it's a matter of when, then I ask the why don't you go first? Better to be the person on offense than defense. I know we like to believe that defense wins the game, but
Uh-uh.
offense gets the glory.
You're right about that, man. Especially when it comes to family court, man.
Offense gets the glory.
You're absolutely right. And it's like,
So,
it's like,
what are you gonna plan about? So since you already, again, you've seen TPO cases, you've seen all this stuff. If you see that that is the normal proceeding of bad luck, what are you doing to make yourself not be a statistic?
what steps am I taking, man?
But well, because it's not a matter of but, it's a matter of and. Unfortunately, it requires more.
Okay, just give me 5 more minutes. I promise you I'll be in there 5 minutes, okay? Love you. I'm sorry, man.
And I don't want to take it from your son. If you gotta go, you gotta go.
It's cool. We're at a good spot right here. Go ahead, man.
No, you were saying something.
Shit. No, man. Yeah, we're all unique. We're all in a unique situation. You're right. There are whoever doesn't jump first probably gonna get the shit in the stick. And typically, especially in family court with women and men, even if a man typically jumps first, he's still gonna have a hard ass war and a hard ass battle. Um, but a lot of men that do have the resources and the finances to be able to put up a decent fight, they have a better shot. I'm not in that position right now, and that's why I'm trying to get I'm trying to get up, so I can put myself in a financial situation to where I can crush it on in the game of war, and and possibly have a better representation when it comes to court. Okay, versus a man is not going to get a court appointed attorney. That's just not going to happen. And no matter if the law states that, you know, they can have a fair shot of getting a pro bono, that's not true at all, man. That's not true at all. Men do not have that fair shot of a pro bono lawyer. Um, and that's why I know I have to get this company going, stack it
I
away.
I'd rather do a lotto ticket.
A lot. Why?
I got a better chance of hitting the lotto than hitting someone that had the pro bono.
Oh no, yeah. You're not getting a man is not getting a pro bono, man. That's not gonna happen. Women can. Oh shit, yeah, they sure can. But men won't, and they can't. But that's why it's so important for a man to have counsel when he's going to family court. And her not being available for my son things are right now because of her new career. It's like, yo, if you want to live that lifestyle, that's fine. Why not allow my son to have the opportunity to have that more time with his father that his father loves him.
So we're gonna get down to the whole point that we're still talking about.
Yeah,
Why would she do that if her intention is to be quote selfish?
that's and that's where narcissism comes in play. Remember at the beginning of the stream when Mama said that's a narcissist? That's when I popped on.
I hear you. So there are definitely extremisms in everything. There are extremisms when it comes to being selfless. This is why I mentioned that people give so much that is harmful to them.
Yep.
Like, to the point where like they would invite, like, say, a crackhead into their house, and that crackhead steals everything, or God forbid, kicks them out their own house. Like, it, there's something like the point where there is extremism when it comes to selfishness because of narcissism.
Yep.
The question is, where do we discover that balance? And I don't think a lot of people go about trying to navigate those waters because, as human beings, it's an us first mentality. It's us first. It's making sure we eat first. It's making sure our needs come first. This is why I mentioned, like, the plane. Put on your mask first. I must intake oxygen before I can attend to you.
Correct.
And in her mind, the same way how it should be in your mind, it should be whoever strikes first. And whoever strikes first must strike hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation to be in, but unfortunately, like, that's the way of life. For instance, we talk about people who try to, like, Gen X, Gen Millennials, and Gen Z, right? They talk about getting a job, right? Getting a job when people are all losing their jobs right now is tough, which means that you need to outsell people that you can't even see.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be so selfish that you need to think about the people who are trying to compete that you do not know what their credentials are. You have to be a bit even narcissistic when you're in your interviews. And it's an unsightly scene. I've seen people who've been so over the top that I just go, "Oh, can we just end this now?" And then people who are just so timid and afraid, but they're so capable that they don't get the job either.
Yeah.
It's tough out there.
It's very tough, man, especially with children, man. And back to what I was saying is, if she wants to be so involved with her career, what the fuck is the problem with my son having more time with me? I make the time. Even the 25, 35 minutes from her aunt's house to drop my son off at camp, I cherish that. Us boys, his cousin, my son, myself, dude, it's a great conversation. It's a great drive. And I'm that type of parent that will go do that for my son.
Well, let me ask you a question. She was with you when when she went to school, right?
Yeah.
The bills needed to be paid while she went to school, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We know where this is going.
So the moment where she got her degree is when a big problem took place, right? When she was
Fi-
done with all the hard labor, right?
5 days later after she graduated.
Cool.
Beep,
I
beep.
we're going back to the very center core of all this. We're
Yep.
talking about the extremism when it comes to being selfish.
Hmm.
What makes you think that she wouldn't have a mindset of, quote, wanting it all?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She does. I see that, man. Blindsided by the faith of having a better future as a family and the way that these
What would
women
make
set
you think,
themselves up.
yeah, like, what would make you think that in her mind, especially because she's got the when she left, she didn't have the job, but she had somewhere to stay. But now the point that she has a job, that she wouldn't believe. And again, I don't know her predicament or what her mindset is. But if she is making a decent amount of money, especially because she works so hard for the degree that she has, what makes you think that in her mind she would not believe that she can provide a better life than what you could give your son? That she could celebrate both the Mother's Day and the Father's Day.
But she carries on a lot of debt too, bro. She carries on a lot of
A
debt.
lot of people do.
Well, yeah, she's already. So you remember a conversation we had in the back chat, or maybe it was a late night opinionated stream, um, where when I caught on to something, yeah, on my son's tablet, and
Yes, sir.
called her out on it, told her that she's gonna have to figure out something about transportation because she was using my car, and her practically begging, uh, "You can't do me a solid." And I said, "Okay, you got a solid. You got 2 months to find a vehicle," because she didn't even get a paycheck yet. And then following week later, she drops my vehicle off. She rolls up in a used Mercedes Benz. That's crazy, ain't it?
Well, of
That's
course, if she had to drop off a car, it had to be something better. I mean, come
but
on.
a used Mercedes Benz. You know how shitty that vehicle is, bro.
Hey, it had the word Benz in it.
That's
That's a
it.
Mercedes.
That's it, man. That's what I'm trying to say is that she's carried on so much debt, and now she has just really fucked herself in debt, man. That car payment is probably gonna be about $500, and insurance gonna be around anywhere from $400 to $600. That's a G right off top.
Well, people live in the mind. Well, you forget. People live in the mindset of we're not there yet. That word yet is a motherfucker to a lot of people.
Eh, True, but I guess also the term of "fake it till you make it," dude. You just bought
Well,
yourself a shitload of problems, man.
okay. Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
is it faking it if you think that it's an if you fool yourself into believing it's an investment. We went through this. I went through this on a panel. I was on a panel where we were talking, and we were talking about I can't remember the title of the channel. Um, but eventually we got to a point where we were speaking as if, is it a lie if you believe in it? The answer to some people is yes, it's still a lie. But for those who follow it, it's a fantasy that will come true because it's an investment. People don't believe the things they invest in will become lies. If you have a company, if you went into business for yourself,
yep,
you're the sole determining factor. You don't believe that you went into this to fail, but you
yeah.
can.
You
So
can,
for some people, it's an investment because it'll pay off.
yeah.
Not it's an investment and I could fail.
But a used Mercedes, I mean, that's not really an investment, brother.
uh I say that about a Porsche, but people still buy
Yeah,
them.
yeah. You're absolutely right.
I say that about a Rolls Royce. But if the investment is, if the justification is, well, I needed the vehicle to get me from point A to point B, did it have to be a Rolls Royce? No,
There's
but if
plenty of
the
vehicles
investment
that
was, but if the investment Royce was, I got this Rolls Royce, but I just needed something to get me from point A to point B, people would justify dumb shit.
yes, sir. They sure would. They sure would. Hey, Resla, I really love this conversation. We
Listen,
can still
go
go
ahead,
on and go on. I got to go
go have
spend
some
some
fun.
time with my son.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I miss all you guys. You guys definitely helped me out, clear my head up some. I've had to pull away again to train of thought and trying to figure out what am I doing.
I hear you, man. And don't be a stranger, man. Not at all.
No,
We know we're we're
I
all
won't.
we're all wishing the best for you.
I'll pop in from time to time. Hopefully not drunk. I've chilled out
Listen,
on that big time, man.
listen. If I can get drunk, so can you.
Yeah, but you know, it's
I know.
like
I don't
I
have
don't
kids,
drink.
so
Yeah, that's more important. But you guys have a wonderful show. You have an amazing show going on, and I did catch some of you and OG last night in Mayo. While I was
Oh, that's all.
grinding out throughout the night. I wanted to pop in, but I know if I did, I wouldn't have gotten my job done.
Oh no, it's all good. It's only gonna get better. I'm pretty sure you'll see some new faces that start popping in. We're working on a whole bunch of stuff.
Yo, and Josh, he's pretty awesome, man.
I listen. I tried. I'm trying to get him in a little bit more.
Yeah, I
I
caught you
tried.
guys a little. Again last week too. I caught a little bit of that too.
He's a good
Um,
dude.
yeah,
Hey, he's
he's a
doing.
nice guy, man.
Yeah,
Everybody's great people, man. That
he's a
hangs
he's
out.
a good dude.
But you have a wonderful show, man.
Thank you very much. You have a good time with your son.
All right, brother. Bye bye.
All right, man. Later. It's really good seeing Locksmith. He's been a while for a bit. Again, he's been out there grinded. Some people can even say he was being selfish. Doesn't mean it's a necessarily bad thing because he is doing it quote for his son. He's doing it for his lineage, he's doing it for his offspring. Now, some people out there, for the very selfless people, would turn around and say, it's too much. Yeah, I would just give up already. Let the big twin. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop. Chill. If you want things by all means, at all costs, you'll do anything you can to have it. Anything that you can to have it. To make sure that you place the people that you love in the best position. And that requires you to be a little bit selfish, you know? To say, I don't want to have any kids because, quite frankly, I wouldn't be able to spend money on me, like we've seen in some of these other videos, gives you the amount of quote selfishness, because there are goods and bads when it comes to selfishness, to do that. Or if they want to really rationalize it, they'll say, I'm so selfless. Because how could I dare put a kid in this position? How could I dare bring a kid into this world? I'm so selfless from sparing them the agony of this democracy and this liberty and these wars and climate change. And it's all the reasons why they say that they can't possibly be in here. And this is exactly what they mean when they say it. I would give my kids up for adoption so darn fast. And I would say, you gave your kids up. That's how you got kids in the first place. You was up there, all up in the club, sir. That's how you got them in the first place. But it's this whole thing that people really talk about when it comes to what's considered something to be so selfish or not. You know, taking over. I look at Elon, right? Taking over Twitter, people say he's so selfish. But when you hear the reasons why he took over Twitter, is it really so bad? Protecting free speech. Oh, he didn't really do it for that. Really? He gave all the people who got shut down on Twitter all that stuff. And at the same time, there are people overseas who I think should have got blocked who did it. When we turn around and look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg, who was part of his whole meta thing that led into a whole big thing when it came to the 2020 elections, like was that such a great thing? All we watched on the debacle that took place in 2019 all the way through. Was that such a great thing? Of course not. And quite frankly, in case he hears this, fuck Zuckerberg. Because I think he's been very weird. It's a little above his station to be trying to handle what he's trying to handle. Now, in looking at this aspect of selfishness, right? I don't believe I'm gonna hold on this stance. I believe that being selfish is not a bad thing. There are plenty of people who I tend to run across who just seem to be in this mindset that, oh, there's degrees, but I think for most part, selfish people are just not the people that we need to have around. And I'm going, that's foolish. I don't know anyone who did well. I don't know anyone who did well in school. I don't know anyone who did well in their career. I don't know anyone who didn't do anything in reference to how they want to put their family first or their friends in the proper position who wasn't selfish to a high degree. It's not selfless, selfish. It's one thing to say that you put others ahead of yourself. That's selfless. But to just put someone in a position when it does nothing for you or that it was a position that you couldn't be in the first place, is that really being selfless? No, you're just putting someone that you know in position. I think that the nuance matters. But I think a lot of times people don't look at it that way. If I could not move up, but I knew what somebody else was looking for and I put them in a position that's not me being selfish. That's me utilizing my network. That's me putting someone else in the position that could possibly help me in the future, which is still selfish, by the way. It's not selfless. Me making a sacrifice to put someone else in a position for something that I'm qualified for, that's selfless. It's the same way I mentioned the whole me spending money for say somebody or for something small at the store. It's not helping me. I more than likely will never see them again. I didn't ask them for anything. I didn't even take the money from them. I just paid for it because it didn't mean much to me. It's not me being selfless. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not expecting anything from it. It's just me being a good steward of the next person, hopefully seeing the fact that then maybe somebody will do something for me one day. And even the aspect of just saying that I hope that somebody will do something for me could be looked at as a degree of being selfish. I think that multiple people all over the board are selfish. And I want you guys to know that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at some of the real world examples that we have. Like I said, we already had Elon Musk out there. He's already doing his own thing. But honestly, I look at you guys and I say, we have opened ourselves up in the world to the fact that we see so many different aspects of how people move, even to the point where we talk about the quote alphabet community. We see how they chew each other up. And if you want a great example of that, be sure to check out the DVD that OG and I did early this morning. It is absolutely insane how they had it to themselves. In a quote, selfless act of saying that other people are also part of that community, but at the same time, they're not like me. Is that really what you want? But I guess the question that I have for you guys is can you think of a time when you were selfish and it paid off? Let me say it again. Can you think of a time when you yourself were selfish and it paid off? Or perhaps, perhaps a moment, perhaps a moment when someone else was selfish and it impacted you negatively? I guess it's a good question because I can't think of things that other people have done selfishly that impacted me negatively. And I know it's happened. I know there's different examples, but I'm trying to think about it in my mind right now, where somebody else acted selfishly and it backfired on me. I can't think of it. If you have an experience like that, feel free to share if you want to. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember a time when somebody else was being so selfish that it affected me. Hmm. And again, if you guys are not really too sure, I don't know why this is up there, but feel free to reach out to me in any way that you want. Of course, you guys already know I'm already on different mediums. Mainly, I'm on my Instagram when I'm not dealing with anything else. I do take messages on Facebook, but I don't really put my Facebook out there. And of course, if you can always reach out to me if in case you're interested in anything else, because I'm always on my emails. At Resla Opinionated at gmail.com. But I've been really focusing a lot on what's going on with everything right in front of me, and then also trying to prepare for what we're going to be looking like for quote the last quarter of the year. And I'm probably gonna put this out as a community post, so just be aware of it. But we are officially in eight and episode 45. And I'm thinking about what should we do for episode 50? I mean, think about it. Or rather, let me just tell you. I when I started this journey, as late as I started this journey, because I could have done this a while ago. Yes. Okay, cool. Crucify me later. Um, when I started this journey, I never saw myself getting this far. I thought this wouldn't really turn out to be something I would be more interested in. It just so happened that after all my talking and doing my own discovery and my own journey, that here we are on episode 45. We are halfway, folks. We're almost halfway to 100. And because we're almost halfway to 100, I'm asking myself, what would things turn out to be like if we actually go ahead and have something that to celebrate that our halfway mark to triple digits? What is something that you might be interested in? Should it be a very large discussion? Should it be focused on panel base? I'm not really one for debauchery, but should we aim that way? Uh, should it be a Q&A? I don't know, but I think I'll put something in my community post and I'll get you guys feedback when it comes to it. If you guys have any particular discussions or particular insights as to how we could help branch the channel out and bring more people in, because the truth of the matter is that when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to online discussions, when it comes to forums, when it comes to the quote debate sectors or some other sectors, I almost said it. I don't want to say it. There's always this aspect when it comes to debauchery. And I'm sorry, but the internet is just not solely for debauchery and for naked women. It's not. My timeline totally says that. And I'm one to believe in my timeline because I'm very productive in my timeline. Probably not on Instagram, but for Facebook, very productive on my timeline. But I know a lot of people who come in a lot of different spaces, they look at panels as quote entertainment spaces, and I look at panels in these conversations as quote conversation spaces. I know that a lot of people get into these spaces as well because they want to see other people just be a shit show with each other, and that's not what I'm looking for. I think that our decent regular conversations are things that are rarity. And because it's a rarity, I think it should be something in high demand rather than just seeing who can curse each other out. Because I'll tell you, you can just leave the channel. Then you can leave the channel, unsubscribe because you can find it anywhere. And there's no sense in me hanging around for that. For me here, like you can go find it somewhere else. I don't expect it to be that. Like just don't. Just please don't, because it's not gonna happen. I would wholeheartedly would just tank the entire channel before letting it get down to that point. I am not going to be your whore. That is not gonna happen. I'm not that selfish. I'm not that selfish. Um, I think I want to put together some things where basically we will be able to have more people start popping up on the channel itself. And I'm gonna start making those efforts to start making that happen. But we won't see the change until most likely next month because I got a whole lot of stuff I need to fix up. Um, all of the aesthetics, all of the sounds. Sounds is the biggest thing for me, bigger than aesthetics. So I know I've been focusing a whole lot on my sound. As far as anything else goes, though, I'm hoping you guys will just be around, that you want to join in the journey, and if you have other people around that you might want to push them towards this area. I don't really have much. In addition to that, I do want to thank those who did show up today. I want to thank Locksmith for actually showing up. I know he's got a lot of stuff he's got going on in his own life, and we're rooting for him. Shout out to CCD, who's of course hanging with his family, but also happy birthday to you. Um, I think I'm going to start ending it here. To be honest with you, this is going to be a short enough episode because I'm annoyed. I really want to work on my sound shit because it's I'm up to here with it. So I want to make sure I get those things done. And outside of that, I want to also make sure that I give myself the ample time so I can start trying to check out what'll be happening with the porch session. So outside of that, guys, I want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can in short time to make sure that we are best in the position when we are moving up in the future. I know it's been a long time. I want to thank you all guys for being here, for whatever. I'm not gonna run it too far when it comes to the call of actions or whatever. You guys already know what's going on here. I am going to start working on a few things. If you haven't already noticed, I've already changed up a couple of things for the intros. There's gonna be other streams that are gonna start popping up soon enough, so just be on the lookout for that. Some of them will be a little bit of a test run on how I'm running on other different platforms and such. There will be an expansion of platforms, not just YouTube. And the biggest thing for me outside of everything else I'm working on is, of course, you guys. How exactly do I plan on fitting all you into it? How I plan on actually making a cohesive schedule so that we can all be able to do things all at the same time? How do I make this more engaging for all you guys so that we're all having a big interaction with each other? And of course, if you haven't noticed already, how I can get Nightbot to stop being a bitch. I don't know what's wrong with her. Um, I had to put her on timeout before we make sure we did this stream because she been acting up the last few streams. I will have a whole bunch of things going on. I will have other segments, so you will see the opinionated show because this is the Resla channel. But you will see the opinionated show. I haven't decided if I want to do a different kind of show outside of opinionated. Oh, we'll see. And I just realized that I wasn't playing my music. Um, as I have to figure out my whole sound system because it's been all over the place. And outside of that, guys, I'm gonna leave you to it. I've been doing enough. It's been all over the place. A little tired, and I still got so much work to do. But we don't sleep when we're tired. We sleep when we're done. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Later. Later, y'all. Oh, again, happy birthday, CCD. Stay united. Stay good. Try to keep freaking cool. It's fucking hot out here. And stay opinionated. And of course, nothing works the way I want it to. Nothing at all. Well, mm, we'll just do it manually. Fuck it. Later. Stay opinionated.